0 shinies to 50 million. 5 rungs on the ladder. And the slice the jungle takes on each one does something nobody warns you about. It climbs. Then it climbs again. And right near the top, where you'd swear it should be steepest, something quietly bends it back down. Here's the part that'll bug you. The caveman who hands over the biggest piece isn't the one with the most. Not even close. Most of the tribe is standing on one rung, paying full freight, looking up, assuming everyone above them pays more. Some do. The one at the very top doesn't. So let Og walk you up the ladder, one rung at a time. Real rates, real shinies, no banana math. 5 levels of wealth, and the exact spot where the taxman quietly switches sides. Rung 1, you've got nothing. Dave's got 40 shinies and 4 days till payday. Net worth, a club, and a strong opinion. On the income tax, Dave owes basically nothing. The first 16,100 shinies he earns are shielded flat out. The jungle waves him right through. So far, so good. Except the income tax was never the one biting Dave. Look at his paycheck. Before he sees a single shiny, 7.65% is already gone. Social Security and Medicare skimmed off the top from his very first shiny. No deduction, no shielding, no escape. And that 7.65%? That's the polite half. His boss pays a matching share. Except every economist will tell you that money was Dave's wage all along, just routed around him. Count both halves, and payroll alone takes closer to 15% of every shiny Dave earns. Just payroll. The income tax hasn't even walked in. And for Dave, it barely will. Rung 1 pays from the first shiny. Hold on to that. It matters more the higher we climb. Rung 2. Steady haul, small cave, a little put away. This is where most of the tribe actually lives. Call it 50 to 150,000 shinies a year. A job, a mortgage, a 401k you check too often. Here's what Rung 2 pays. Full freight. Ordinary income rate stacked right on top of that full payroll bite. And every shiny you earn sits under the cap, so payroll takes its cut on all of it. No part of your haul gets the cheap treatment. None of it. Now add it all up. Income tax and payroll together, the whole bill, and the average household in the middle hands the jungle around 13% of what it makes. Doesn't sound like much next to that scary 37 you've heard about. But here's what nobody on Rung 2 clocks. It's 13% of a haul that's already stretched to snapping. Rent took a third. The cave took another chunk. You feel every single point. Rung 2 works. Rung 2 also pays on time, in full, with nowhere to hide. Rung 3, now you're the caveman everyone calls rich. The surgeon, the lawyer, 400,000 shinies a year, big cave, the works. And Rung 3 pays the most of anyone on this whole ladder. Full stop. This is where the famous 37% lives. The top bracket. Stack the rest on, and the top sliver of the tribe, the richest few in 100, hands over right around 30% of everything they make. The steepest rung there is. Here's the cruel joke, though. The surgeon got rich by working. Her shinies show up as wages. Same category as Dave's, just taxed harder. She traded her hours for a giant haul, and the jungle taxes a giant haul of wages exactly the way you'd guess. Hard. So if someone told you the rich don't pay, introduce them to Rung 3. She pays. She pays like it's her job. Because it is. Now watch what happens when the shinies stop coming from work. Rung 4. You don't have a job anymore. You have holdings. 5 million, 10 million in the pile. This is Big Caveman's rung. And his shinies don't come from swinging a club. They come from owning things that grow while he sleeps. Stocks, buildings, slices of companies. This is where the whole machine quietly changes shape. Sell a holding you've sat on more than a year, and the gain isn't taxed like wages. It's a long-term capital gain. Top rate 23.8%. Hold that up next to the surgeon's 37. Same jungle, same shinies, near enough. One's taxed a third lighter, purely for arriving as ownership instead of work. And payroll, that bite that hit Dave from his first shiny, gone. There are no wages to skim. A caveman pulling $1 million in salary stops paying into Social Security by early March. He's hit the cap. A caveman whose money is all holdings stops on New Year's Day. He was never paying in. Rung 4 is where the ladder stops climbing and starts bending back down. Rung 5, 50 million and up. The 400 richest cavemen in the jungle. And here's your payoff for climbing all this way. The caveman at the very top has a move the other 4 rungs can't touch, and the tribe wrote it into the rules on purpose. It's got a name. Buy, borrow, die. Goes like this. He owns a mountain of holdings that keeps growing. He never sells. Selling is what triggers the tax. Instead, he borrows against the pile. And a loan isn't income, so a loan isn't taxed. He funds an entire life, cave, island, the lot, on borrowed shinies and hands to the jungle nothing, because on paper, he didn't earn a thing. Then, he dies. And here's the trick the whole thing turns on. His heirs inherit the mountain. But when they sell, the gain isn't counted from what he paid for it. It's counted from what it was worth the day he died. Decades of growth. The gain that would have been taxed the second he sold, gone. On paper, it never existed. So what does the top actually pay? The 25 richest on the shinies they report, 15.8%. On what their fortunes actually grew, 3.4. The 400 richest families, counting everything they truly gained, 8.2. That's not a loophole somebody forgot to close. That's the ladder, working exactly as built. So let all get this straight. Climb the ladder and the slice rises, nothing. Then 13, then a full 30%, right up to the surgeon who got rich working. She pays the most of anyone here. Then the shinies start coming from owning instead of working, and the whole thing bends. The richest report 15.8%, barely half the surgeon's rate, and measured against everything their fortunes actually gained, counting the growth they never sold, somewhere between 3 and 8%. Less than the middle of the tribe pays on a paycheck. It's not a staircase, it's a hill. Nearly everyone you know is on the steep side of it, paying full freight, looking up at a summit that pays a smaller slice than they do. None of it's hidden. None of it's illegal. It's just by built for a kind of shiny. Most of the tribe will never earn the way the rich earn it, by owning, not working. Real ladder, real shinies, the way it actually works. Now you know which rung you're on, and exactly where the tax man switches sides. If that rearranged something in your head, join the tribe. There's a lot more of this jungle Og hasn't shown you yet.